Al-Qaeda is doing what they can to win over the hearts and minds in Syria, and they recently had an event, an Al-Qaeda Fun Day, with some pretty awesome events. Let's watch.
So that's fun. That's an ice cream eating contest with a couple of kids.
By the way, it's described as a cream.
Yeah, I thought that was weird too.
Yeah, it was a British paper that reported on it. Maybe that's why. And they mentioned ice cream later. I got obsessed by it too. All right. So context here is that look, you know, from the Western perspective, we look at Hamas, Hezbollah as an example as terrorist groups, and oh my God, etc. Now, on the other hand, they're also local community groups too. They're both, right? And so Hezbollah in southern Lebanon does a lot of charity, they do education, etc. Now, on the other hand, when Hamas does some education on children's TV, it could be hideous at times. Like like a fun little bee comes out and teaches you how to kill the Jews, and you're like, oh my God, right? So it's both. It's both because they live in that community, so obviously they serve the community as well. Now, Al-Qaeda is different. They're just usually known as a terrorist group that's not into ice cream eating contests. And this is Al-Qaeda, but it's in Syria where Al-Qaeda is fighting against the dictator Bashar al-Assad, where it gets super confusing as to who the good guys are, because there might not be any good guys. There's some rebel groups that are on the right side, but they're Sunnis and they got to make deals with these guys to begin to win, etc. So since it's complicated and it's not how Al-Qaeda normally operates, they're apparently trying to win hearts and minds instead of blowing up hearts and minds, at least in Syria, right? Yeah. But when I read that it was kids doing the ice cream eating contest with no hands, I was like, oh no, they chopped off their hands.
That's what I told. I went into Cenk, I said, they no hand, and he was, yeah, totally, yeah.
And when I saw that contest and the kid was like about to use his hand, and he was like, oh, don't. I was like, oh, no, don't do anything to the kid. Oh, please don't do anything to the kid.
And you know, the kids were like, usually when I don't eat with my hands, there are serious repercussions from you people. Yeah. Are you sure? Those kids were very hesitant on how to proceed.
Yeah, and then you had the Filner like rubbing his face in the cream there for a little while.
Oh God.
Yeah, do you want to move on to the second video though?
I just wanted to make a really quick point. I think that this illustrates perfectly that it's a terrible idea to get involved in Syria because it's much more complicated and confusing than people make it out to be. Just because there's an uprising against a dictator doesn't mean that those that are part of the uprising are the good people and you should help them out. I mean, of course, it's going to lead to a lot of uncertainty if we get rid of al-Assad, but at the same time, I mean, I think the U.S. goes into situations like that and fucks it up further.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But we're on the other hand, these Al-Qaeda guys, I mean, they seem lovely. You got the ice cream eating thing, and we're about to show tug-a-war.
Yeah.
Again, that scares me a little bit, but let's see what happens. No, look, so this is not random Muslims. This is Al-Qaeda Fun Day, right?
Yes, I know.
And so as I saw the guys you could see them get emotionally invested in the tug-of-war at one point. They're losing their slippers and they're like, we're sticking and they're pulling and I was like, this is gonna go south, right? And then you see more people joined in after the second edit, after the first edit, and you're like, I'm like, uh-oh, okay. Because the tug-of-war, you're supposed to have a certain side and you don't add people in the middle, right? And as Ben pointed out.
JR found that then at the end, they just was strolling through. There's a, guy with a machine gun.
I did.
Yeah, check it. He just walks right there. He's like,
Right there.
yeah, whatever.
yeah.
Strapped to his back.
Yeah, strapped to
Oh
his
my
back.
God.
Yeah.
I
I
noticed
also-
that the first
yeah.
time.
I know everybody probably felt the exact same thing I did as you're watching it. You're like, oh, it's like 3 guys in shirts, and then the camera pans over. You're like, oh yeah, it's Al-Qaeda. It's in Syria.
But you know what's
it's
funny
their
is that-
shirts versus skins, kind
Right.
of.
So those guys are in the
Shirts versus mullahs.
Right, those guys are in there. What reminded me, and it's a weird thing I think to be reminded of, but what reminded me is you saw the guys in the whatever you call it. What do you call it? Dresses.
Outfits.
Right, in their outfits. Remember that one of the reasons we used to round up Taliban members and hold them without trial or anything was because they violated the rules of war because they weren't in a proper uniform. Like, and you're like, that's what they wear, jackass. And we invaded their country.
Yeah.
Like, right or wrong, like maybe we should have, but we invaded their country and they fought back and they didn't put on another outfit before fighting the invaders back.
Yeah,
and so we're
that
like,
makes such a-
violation of the rule of war.
Yeah, I mean, look, we always twist the laws to our favor. We're like, George Bush said, we are going to have democracy in the Palestinian territories. Oh, shit, Hamas won. Okay, we are not going to have democracy in the Palestinian territories because Hamas are terrorists.
Yeah.
Look, you know, you can call them what you like, but they did win the elections, right?
Right.
And when we invaded Iraq, definitely wrongfully, as we said on the show for about 10 straight years, they said, well, you weren't wearing the right clothes.
It's mostly Afghanistan, I thought, where we did the clothes thing.
Yeah, well, we did some Taliban in Afghanistan, etc. But they use that like if
wherever.
for anyone you're fighting, if they're not wearing the right attire, if they didn't attend Fashion Week in Milan and get the right clothes, sorry, the rules of war don't apply to you because
Right.
you were not wearing a uniform when we invaded your house.
Right, we both left out the opposite. We said the Geneva Conventions do not apply to this country we invaded because the guys who shot back at us were dressed like that. It's insane.
No, but also during World War II, the Japanese do waterboarding. Oh, that's torture. Then eventually, oh, we kind of want to use that. It's not torture anymore. Like, yeah, we definitely bend the rules in all sorts of different ways.
Yeah. And the guy with the machine gun, to be fair, probably was protecting in the middle of a civil war against the Assad forces if they came in. I was just happy to see that it was on his back, that he didn't come in with like, wait, our side's definitely going to win. Let's not, okay, let's understand this right.
That guy knows full well that the best remedy to a bad Syrian with a gun is a good Syrian with a gun.
Yeah, that's worked out really well in
it's
the
worked out
last
great for
couple
them.
of years.
It's so
right?
safe there.
Yeah.